Hello, Supreme Commanders, ladies and gentlemen, and those on YouTube who've just randomly gone and clicked. Hello and welcome to today's 5 versus 5 here on Supreme Commander Forged Alliance. It is a 1340 average player rating, and the yellow team, who we see here as Team 1, that's these guys here, on the Upper West side are on average 77 points behind across the board. So a minor disadvantage, not too much. We see here Supreme Scoreboard's actually rounded it off to a 40 points per player deficit. It isn't actually that much, it's more like 15. And so with that said and done, let's go ahead and begin introducing our players. The game was submitted by one of the players featuring in today's game. I will reveal their name later on, but for now, let's go ahead. And on Team 1, on the westernmost position here in Sky Blue, we've got Laugh Out Loud, Roll on the Floor Laughing, or LOL Ruffle. I don't know, we'll just call him, I don't know. LOL Ruffle is still a bit of a mouthful. I think we'll just go with Ruffle. Either way, he's a ongoing first land there in Sky Blue as a 1300. Moving to his north, the highest rated player in today's game, C2118 Freedom there in khaki green going Cyber and first land. This guy featuring an awful lot, this 1700 rated player. I can only imagine there are a lot of games under his belt so far. Moving to his east here in burgundy red, we've got Brittle. I'll have to see if he lives up to his name. As a Seraphim commander, brittle is certainly not the word you would use to describe it ordinarily. He's an 1100 going first land. And then last on the mainland over here in Banana, we've got TwitchyMofo, a 1400 going first land there in Banana Yellow second land. And then last but not least, disconnected from the mainland here in Cyan, we've got an 1100 Count Swagula. First time this guy's featured on the channel, and he's going for a very fast first air factory and transport. Let's begin introducing our players on the flip side then. Team 2 over here in white, we've got Sanoman from the FC clan. He's a 1400 going Cyber first and second land. Moving to his south in Ferrari red, we've got Zelda Fanboy. I think it might have also been the first time we feature this guy on the channel. He is Cybran there, a 1300 rated, also going first air. And moving to the south then, let's mix things up a bit. Disconnected from the mainland from Team 2 here. In green is Hyper 2001, another player from the FC clan, going first land and second air. He's a 1300 playing as Cybran today as well. To his north as we cross the way in purple, already moving out of base, is Tesla Max. He's a 1300 going first and second land. And then last but not least, in pink is Veka, also from the FC clan, a 1500 there. Another Seraphim player there, moving out, who's gone first and only factory is air so far. So just before we go ahead and go full pace, let's take a little look at some of the little details here on the map. If we take a look at the scale of the map and then zoom out all the way, we can see this is a very definitely a 15 by 15 there. And what I like about it is lots of reclaim that has been generated here, so there is definitely a reason to come out of base and fight for. We see even some T3 Rex there, 806, but also this very interesting central sort of volcano mountainous region, but with a plateau surrounding it. And there is mass on there, as you can see, a shed load of mass, but we've also got mass points at various intervals. So two big reasons to fight for it, economically speaking, and then strategically to control such a region. Well, if you can control the whole place, it's a very good spot to put artillery or tactical missile launchers. All right, so at 421, let's go ahead and start focusing in on some of the action. Let's see, first of all, again, just a quick recap. This is Team 1 over here, pressing down from the northern west side. TwitchyMofo with a bunch of scouts there. Sanoman responding in white, because the tanks are going to beat the scouts, or the Mantis are going to beat the scouts any day. There's a single tank here from Twitchy following it up. And, well, Does manage to pick off a heavily damaged Mantis, but that is going to be about all. We see the two commanders here having at it, again stood via their big mass field. Action continues down here. We'll take another look at that in a minute. What also interests me is what's happening on this central mountainous region, as we see large mass field here as well worth having, and 2118 Freedom making a very big play for the central region. You see he is, I don't know if you would argue that is the rear player or the naval player. I guess these two players have got to decide that, maybe in cahoots with Brittle as well. Either way, 2118 Freedom is moving towards the center with his commander, but his main objective appears to be to capture this central region. See, Tesla Max has made a decent play for it as well. Did I introduce Tesla Max? Do you know the name? Just, I don't feel like I did. Apologies, Tesla Max, if I did not. 1300. Also Seraphim in deep purple there. It's first thing in the morning for me. And it looks like 2118 Freedom has caught Tesla Max out. In any case, two factories there that are completely overwhelmed. We see 2118 Freedom with at least 5 online. Point defense. See Zelda Fanboy over here also making a play for the central spot. And it looks like he's going to pick off Brittle's factory. So Team 2 behind, despite this little glimmer of hope over here from Zelda Fanboy. He's going to need more than one factory to repel 2118's Freedom's 5, because you see he's all but wiped out Tesla Max's presence here. Tesla Max trying to re-establish over here, but again, he's only got 2 engineers. And it would appear that Hyper 2001 has dropped engineers in, but he's only really concerned with the eco. Is not trying to make a play for the island. Take a quick look on how commanders are doing over here. Pretty much full health. Nobody getting too crazy at this stage of the game. Over on the other side, Zelda Fanboy, yeah, everyone. Sanaman's probably the lowest health commander in the game, and he's still got 2/3 health at this stage. Anybody yet with the gun? Not that I can tell. Certainly not on the eastern side. And same would apply down here. 2118 is still making a play for this area, setting up shop. Looks like actually 2118 Freedom for this. A lot of engineers, a lot of factories. I think this guy is going for the economics. And here we see 21. His army does run into a point defense. Well-placed point defense there from Zelda Fanboy. And with predominantly Mantis here, there is one Medusa in the mix. Zelda has got to shut the Medusa down if he's got any hope of holding here. And there we see it. Freedom has indeed locked on to the area. And Zelda is making an attempt for it here. Just feels like this is a crucial part of the game. He does manage to pick off the Medusa in the nick of time. And Freedom is probably going to have to back off at some stage. Unless he can get reinforcements here quick, which he can. Check back in over here. Count Swagula's a little low on health, just dipping below 2k there. He carries on. 1400 hit points. He's going to have to bow out and think about rearming or doing something there. Checking back over here, we've got some initial Navy play from both Veka. See, LOL trying to get stuck in, as is 2118 Freedom. But what's this? We've got a drop on the hands here from Veka. It is the old Seraphim artillery, the Zoois. So we'll be able to drop these right off on the water. And yeah, 2118 is going on a major Navy operation here. And Veka is about to put a big stop to that. There's 3 naval yards online now. He's working on a 4th. So many engineers here. And just a handful of artillery pieces. Unless 21 can get a bomber or a jester or something here quick. This is going to be one of the most successful 7 pieces of artillery that we've seen on a Navy drop so far on the channel. That's 2 yards down 2 to go. You see engineers actually producing more naval yards since these artillery units have been dropped. There's a ping, no doubt from one of the allies of freedom saying, hey, you've got to look what's going on. That's 3 of them down. Here goes 4th. And that there, very nice drop from Veka. Well done. Check back over here. See, freedom has backed off a little bit thanks to Tesla Max's very aggressive push, who is still bare. We see all of this was previously under the control of freedom, so he really has managed to push him off. Freedom has got a couple of Tech 2 engineers out here, and his commander does have the gun. Units now from Tesla Max starting to break through. At the same time, we've got Navy pressure here from Veka starting to break through as well. With that very successful artillery, look at this. He's managed to bring all of the units on land. Freedom is finally responding with a bomber, but the damage is done. Quick glance on the other side. And a nice bit of pressure from Sanoman here as well. So at this moment in time, where you look, Team 2 seem to be breaking through. Tesla Max has completely overrun LOL's main base. I'll tell you, LOL Ruffle certainly won't be lolling and ruffling at this moment in time. Screaming and shouting, yes. Laughing, no. Freedom comes in to try and save the day. We see Veka here breaking through as well. This is a disaster from LOL's point of view, who does manage to get a Tech 1 torpedo launcher online. He's unupgraded. We see here Veka just hiding out in the drink, also unupgraded. Quick check back over here, and Veka still providing pressure on Freedom, who's trying to re-establish again, this time using build capacity to get torpedo launchers online. Does manage to save at least one of his naval yards. We saw a second one there come online. There's now not. This torpedo launcher, absolutely crucial if you are rooting for Team 1 and their navy. Checking back in over on the east side. I realize we're focusing on the west a lot. Sanoman with the gun causing a lot of damage. Zelda Fanboy does not. He's just got the stealth. There is a bit of a ping there. No doubt a request from his allies for Brittle to get his tanks stuck in. And Zelda Fanboy's got to be careful here. He does not have the gun. Yes, he's stealth, but once you've got him picked up, that's it. Zelda Fanboy with units sends across and provides cover. Sanoman as well. Nice play all around. And at some point, TwitchyMofo is going to have to try and get stuck in. We see he's got the gun and Tech 2 now. He's going for the Tech 2 point defense, providing he's allowed to finish it and can start perhaps try to assist the health so it doesn't get taken out. We see here Sanoman. Well, yeah, he knows he's got to shut those point defense down, and shut them down he does. Just about holding the enemy at the gates here. We see Brittle going for the gun as well. That can't come soon enough to help plug the gap here for his team. 21-18 Freedom is... Oh, he's got... This is awful. All of these were Tech 2 mass points. 2 of them are down. 2 to go. Tesla Max just breaking through all over the shop. Freedom is finally responding with a Tech 1 bomber, but basically where you look, Team 2 really are applying the pressure today. We do, however, have a silver lining here from TwitchyMofo. Sometimes the camera can be a little twitchy as well, which is a little frustrating, but regardless, here we go. Tech 1 Navy just nicely raiding the coastline here. And Zelda Fanboy's probably going to have to think of something here. I'm not sure quite how much of his main base is under threat, if this mass extractor is or not. And there is a bit of a response there from Zelda. The Tech 2 torpedo bombers. TwitchyMofo, who's now got a Tech 2 Navy online. Well, they needed something because Team 1 were just collapsing. We've got another huge press over here from Veka, but what is this? A brick. 21-18 has skipped over the Tech 2 phase, bar those couple of engineers gone for the Tech 3, and the brick will certainly shut down these spam run-bys that we've been seeing. High rate of fire, high range, high damage. And Veka not relenting on the pressure over here. Veka, be nice to see this guy switch to Tech 2 Navy as well to continue putting the pressure on. Because look at this, Freedom has managed to keep his rearmost factory online long enough to get it to Tech 2. And here we see Veka once again trying to apply pressure. These artillery pieces have got to go for the Navy HQ. See there, the destroyer from Veka does come online. Sorry, Freedom does manage to get it online. And here's Veka's now primarying the Tech 2 Naval HQ. And for about the third time, Freedom loses all his naval yards. And it looks like now we may even lose these torpedo launchers that were instrumental in keeping him in the game. He does, however, hang on to a single Tech 2 destroyer. And at least this Tech 2 will be able to pick off at this artillery at range. Back over here. Zelda fanboy Sanoman pushing up against Brittle. Brittle, who does have the gun. He's also got Nano and Tech 2, so not the easiest commander in the world to take out. Twitchy over here with a few Ilshis as well online. Crucial, especially again when your opponent's predominantly working on spam. See, there is a bit of a response against this Navy here from Sanoman, who's getting some artillery batteries capped off. In fact, we've got a kill. We've got 3 kills between them. And the torpedo bombers here from Zelda Fanboy. We see some of these mass points were indeed in range of Twitchy's Tech 1 Navy. But a decent response there. And for now, run-by attempts continue from Tesla Max. He's now put Ilshis in the mix. But again, when you've got bricks, the Ilshis are only going to get so far. 2118 for the 4th time is trying to get his Navy online. Of course, he knows he can't just let it go. And here we do now see the Tech 2 Navy as well from Veka. And the destroyer with a solitary sub from Freedom that we saw him hold on to from before. He's not going to want to get that stuck in too deep. He realizes he's got to turn around. 17 kills so far, but looks like he may have bitten off more than he can chew here. Back in on the east side, just where you look is action right now. This map certainly lends itself towards it. It's why I have to keep the mini-map on. These two commanders got to be careful when your opponent's got gun and nano. You got to either work together or back off together. Can't let the commander have too many shots on just one commander. And these are Otham siege tanks, so Team 2 got to be really careful. Team 1 with a bit of a counter-punch have fallen back a long way with the spam, but with the siege tanks they could hit back awfully quick. Another breakthrough here from Tessamax, again with Ilshis. Look how many kills each of these got. Well into the teens. Picking apart Brittles, capped off, mass extractors. Bricks here from Freedom, and really starting to... Freedom who's tried to re-establish base here, also for the second time this game. And now for the first time, I'm starting to see Team 2 are pulling back. They're not just throwing units into battle that now they can't win. They are starting to pull back. Couple of restorers there from Count Swagula as this Navy continues to press Freedom's main base. Freedom, who still has the gun, but forget the Cybran does have access to the nanite torpedo launcher, should he wish, which I don't think would be a terrible decision considering the relentless pressure here. Yet another naval yard down from Freedom. 2 destroyers here from Vega causing a lot of problems. And now a whaler from Freedom. Well, whaler versus destroyers, that's going to win. Of course, Vega could always submerge the destroyers. There's also a cruiser here. I don't think the whaler's going to fare too well against that. In fact, it goes down very quickly. few whalers here going after Freedom's main base. They've taken off some of the key economic structures, at least 3 P-gens there. We've also got the ion reactor that Freedom's trying to get online. That's taken out thanks to the cruiser. Freedom, of course, is the highest rated player, C2118 Freedom here, and he's certainly being picked on like he is. Check back in on the east side. Zelda fanboy gets picked off at 20 minutes, overwhelmed by the siege tanks from Brittle there. Well played. And so despite everything seemingly going Team 2's way early doors, the first commander to get the kill was from Team 1. Check back in. How's he doing? Sanoman could be next. Look at all these siege tanks, and he is. Zelda and Sanoman going down thanks to Brittle. 2 commanders in 30 seconds. Very well played. Seems the technique to sucker your enemy in and then spit them out with siege tanks on this occasion worked very well. We've also got a few sniper bots being trickled into the mix here. It's a nice combination. And again, this Navy here looks like 2118 is using the torpedo capabilities of these bricks to help counter the Navy. We see there that the torpedoes going after this frigate, look at it, they do eventually work. Nicely done. Of course, the cruisers have no defensive capabilities versus the torpedoes. And so these bricks will eventually be able to repel this Navy. The only problem is how much damage is being caused to Freedom's base before. Well, he's on the old TAC missile defense spam, which you've got to do. Certainly versus UEF or Seraphim, which Veka is. Twitchy starting to build up quantities of Tech 2 navies, not throwing it in headlong this time. What's this? The artillery going after Otham siege tanks that are breaking through. Brittle is now repaying the favour. He's got to keep moving. But all these point defense that the siege tanks are just eating the fire of. Cerberus point defense, as we all know, not the best when it comes to Tech 3 units. Also got a Monkey Lord under construction here from Veka. He's going to want to have to get on with that. It's 10,000 hit points out of 45 because these siege tanks are getting awfully close. Backed up by a bunch of sniper bots. Veka's also got Navy to deal with this time. Feels like a little bit of a reversal of what Freedom's had to deal with all game is finally being brought to bear now versus Team 2. Freedom here looking much stronger than he did before. He's got more than enough units here to hold the line. We see a few hover units here from Veka that were able to circumnavigate this front line, but they're not going to get that much done. And lol, Ruffle getting stuck in, who's got nothing left, by the way. It looks like he is trying to get back into the game. Credit to it. Always a credit, man. This guy, his entire base was wiped out 5-10 minutes ago. And here he is at 23 minutes going for his first Tech 1 factory. Props to him. Props to these bricks as well and what they've been able to achieve. And they have been able to push the Navy back far enough to buy Freedom a bit of reprieve there. Freedom, incidentally, and his team still fully in control of the central plateau. Siege tanks here getting too close to the Monkey Lord that was not completed. Best case, it was halfway done. And this is where it was looking so good for Team 2. And at 24 minutes, Veka really needs a hand here. Yes, his team, 2 players down, so APM is going to be of the premium. And it does now look like Hyper is responding. He is sending gunships in. This is much needed. Twitchy's Navy going for aggression again and going for Vecca's, we could argue, his main base back here. Unsure which was really his main base and which was handed off, but either way, those three cruisers stacked together are going to cause a lot of trouble. The gunships do finally make it here from Hyper, and that will just about hold on to the base. I just want to have a quick look over here. Loroffle's gotten himself surrounded with Ulshis. He's going to have to be careful here. We've got a bunch of siege tanks from Tesla Max as well. This guy could be next. And it looks like Loroffle's decided, yeah, I've had enough. I've had no base for the majority of the game. And with it is the first player to be defeated on Team 1 on the 25th minute, making it a 4 versus 3. So much action. Again, so much pressure here from Vecca versus Freedom. It's basically prevented Freedom from spreading out anywhere else. Freedom's entire shtick, his entire APM has been soaked up in trying to defend this base. And look, for the umpteenth time now, his naval yards have all been taken out. We'll check back in a minute. We saw the very crucial run from Hyper 2001 with his gunships just about preventing complete overrun there from Vecca. Vecca seems to have got nothing but engineers all over the shop to try and defend this side of the map. Been incredibly successful on this side. Tesla Max continues with pressure through the mid together here with Vecca. They're going to want to carry on moving, but that sounds like they've just run into a chicken. In the nick of time there from Brittle. And unfortunately, unless these siege tanks split up, I don't think they're going to get very much done. They're in a clump. The chicken says, don't tell them, don't tell them. Let them be in a clump if they want to be in a clump. Suits my plasma weapons just fine. And there they go. The, what's about 15 siege tanks get nothing done. Tesla Max now with a chicken of his own coming up the other flank. Looks like his initial objective is to help secure the eastern flank here for Team 2. We saw that dramatic collapse over the last 5 minutes or so. Freedom here, looks like he was handed a few whalers, or reminded of them. Whalers' anti-air capability woefully bad. And Vecca is going to try and demonstrate that by going after them with Tech 1 interceptors, most of which are out of fuel. But even so, they do tear up the whalers. And then Count Swagula comes in with his ASF and says, no, you don't. Pressure over here on the eastern side with Tesla Max's chicken. He's decided to press, and mostly against engineers. Both teams trying to get their hands on copious amounts of reclaim. And Vecca's Navy on the western side continuing to cause no end of bother for Freedom, who is trying to go tap missile defense creep, artillery creep. Be nice to finish this piece off. It's like 99%. Surely you're going to want to get that investment beginning to pay dividends. No doubt forgotten about it. Isolated torpedo bombers here going after a few subs that have managed to get through from Twitchy. A couple of subs by themselves are not going to get that much done. Look at this. Hyper 2001 is going for the teleporter. He's already got the Mazer. We'll have to keep an eye on him. Chicken here from Brittle continues to press, runs into another chicken from Vecca. Looks like they're going to take each other out. In fact, this one from Vecca holds with sub 4,000 hit points. Chicken over here from Tesla Max faring a little better, and at least for now, not that much to stop it. Requests here from Brittle for air. We see Hyper 2001, who's really made these Tech 2 gunships work for him. But it looks like Count Swagula has finally had enough of them now. He's going to take those out. And Swagula with a handful of restorers here, and should he wish, he could start going for this chicken. I see no reason why not. And it appears that Swagular can't see any reason why not either. He's starting to send them. Oh, and then he backs off again. Interesting decision. The chicken here is completely unescorted with regards to air. And once again, Vega breaking through around Freedom. Although Freedom this time does have the whalers in position. This is a very nice frigate here. Tickling away at Tech 3 mass extractor as it's being built. Certainly if Freedom don't respond to that, complete waste of resources. And now the chicken has gotten picked up. Swagular is increasing the amount of air here being sent in. And now Twitchy has a chicken. If the air don't finish it, Twitch's chicken will. Lots of Seraphim today. Just thought I'd point out, nobody decided to go UEF. And so, I realize that much action, we haven't really been able to focus on the ecos, but let's have a little look then. So, 30 minutes, 45 seconds total. How close is that? 1.24 million versus 1.22. Team 2 are the first to tick over to 125. Team 1 have 123. So we're talking 2%. 2%, that is all, favouring the southern team, despite, well, the relentless pressure over here. But hand it to Vega. He has really played aggressive versus Freedom, and it's really been paying. And don't forget, Vega's also been involved over here, but you can see really his APM are pretty much tested over here. He's struggled to deal with this Navy. Nobody going Navy over on the eastern side from Team 2. Hyper now with a new... I just wonder, do Team 2 have any idea there's this naval? Yes, they do. So they do see Twitch's naval construction facilities. And the first nuke here, going back, looks like it's heading towards Twitch's main base. We're checking on the... well, we'll watch like this. And that looks like it's going to connect. Twitchy gets all of his build capacity out of dodge. And that's a huge amount of damage. Beautiful nuke there from Hyper. Restorers here from Count Swagular, who separates them away from his ASF. Reasons unknown, and Hyper makes him pay. Count Swagular at least has the foresight to get away from an ASF battle he can't win, and retreats over SAM site coverage. Twitchy continuing to press here with a chicken, and a huge amount of siege tanks here from Brittle. We've got this Navy. Oh no! The Navy has gone within range of Hyper's nuke. There's the ping, but it's far too late. It cracks it. What an oversight there from Hyper 2001, allowing just 2 cruisers to pick apart the most valuable structure in his base. Experimental bomber now from Tesla Max at 5 kills so far. Here we are, 33 minutes. We've also got a battleship here from TwitchyMofo. We'll keep our eye on that. 11 kills. This experimental bomber from Tesla Max is going to keep his team in the game. All of these siege tanks here, there's nothing to stop them. Well, I say nothing. The experimental bomber is the only thing. Beautiful bomb right there, and that finishes off the entire platoon in one shot. Very well played. Chicken over here on the western side from Brittle, going submersibles. And the chicken over here from TwitchyMofo going submersibles. Finally, all those torpedo bombers do pick apart the battleship. They're going to want to get that cruiser as well if he's got the APM to spare. Experimental bomber, I think a bit of a ground attack there. Does cause more damage to the chicken. Huge runs of torpedo bombers. Well, look at all of them. They're going to get it surely. There it goes. And at 34 minutes, have you ever seen a game as chaotic as this? First thing on a Sunday morning. If you are enjoying it, do us a favour, you know what to do. I shan't say it. Monkey Lord here from Freedom, pushing out versus a lot of the land units here. Vecca, who's predominantly still Tech 3, still causing problems. Freedom, for about the 28th time this game, tries to get established in Navy, and for the 29th time, Vecca there breaking through, although this time just with a solitary frigate, but nonetheless breaks through. Very well placed chicken here from Brittle, got in extremely deep into Vecca's main base. Vecca though with a chicken of his own, but nonetheless, oh, it's going to be close. Tesla Max has gone down at 35 minutes. Brittle, man, that was a pickup and a half. The 1100 picks off the 1300 with a masterful bit of play there. Experimental bomber, we still hear it. Looks like it's going after. No way! The experimental bomber was shot down by the aircraft carrier. Well, you didn't see it before. There it is. Another chicken here. Looks like this one's definitely going to go Vecca's way. We've got a huge bank of point defense to assist. Vecca's chicken. And there we go. And if that weren't bad enough, Hyper with a big squad of whalers. Oh, well, for the first time at 36 minutes, it finally got a slight lull in activity. I mean, by no means is there nothing. We've still got the cruisers, the aircraft carriers over here. We've still got the Otham siege tanks here, a cruiser here, but man oh man has it been all hands on deck so far this game. Let's have an update on the ecos then. 1.8 versus 174 million mass favouring the southern side, so they're about 60,000 ahead overall, which works out about 40% at this stage of the game. Sorry, 4%, come on, man. Your math ain't that bad, not just yet, even if it is a Sunday. And this is going to be close, but the chicken does get the Monkey Lord with it. A crucial rank of vet there for Vecca. Come on, getting a bit tongue-twisted. And with it, the chicken is going to live. It's going to say to pick up this stuff, which it would do. Count Swagula for some reason decides to break off. No doubt seeing this big clump of air moving in. Hyper over here dismantling the aircraft carrier. Battleship seconds. Battleship with only 2 kills from Twitchy. And it looks like he's going to get it. We've also got a few units here from Brittle once again breaking through. Brittle really is playing. You know, it's obviously been a sub-commander or something in previous life, and it's all about sneaking in behind the enemy's base with that and realising and then popping up and causing havoc. Oh my goodness, Vecca. You know, you're going to have pissed your opponent off this game, no doubt about it. The frigate now, it's like, well, it's broken through. It's not going to get that much done thanks to a point defense there. Chickens from both players over here. And Vecca once again with the numbers. Torpedo bombers here from Hyper going after that squad of siege tanks that Brittle appears to have forgotten about. Hyper did not. Let's have a look from Team 2's point of view. It is a 2 versus 4. Incidentally, favouring the northern team still. Of course, Team 2 lost 2 players very close together thanks to that attack by Brittle. Brittle who's now once again going versus a couple of chickens who momentarily were looking the other way. He's going to want to try and get this closer. And oh my goodness. At 38 minutes. Hyper 2001. There we see him as telemated. Apologies for missing that. Is he going to get out? Yes. Hyper, we saw him working on that telemaser ages ago. He's gone under the sea on his side. And he's used it to pick off one of the opponents, bringing it back to a 2 versus 3 from his team point of view. He's still working on these torpedo bombers. And so far, he's got a job in trying to deal with the targets. Cruisers as well as aircraft carriers who will pick apart these torpedo bombers. The only question is, how much damage can he do in the process of this? Cruiser, 12 kills. Carrier, 12 kills. That's a lot of torpedo bombers to have lost. Megalith now from Hyper 2001. Chicken here from Vega getting very, very deep. Freedom's not seen enemy units in his part of the base for at least half the game now after that initial pressure very early on. Freedom is trying to chase the chicken down with a megalith, and it has gone in range, which is crucial. So the only question now for Vector is how much damage can this chicken cause? And it looks like the megalith is going to be able to pick it off before it gets the worst of it done. But it doesn't look like it's going to matter much. We have a nuke out from Vector. 2 nukes out at the same moment in time. Double nuke. Well, there has been a lot of to and fro in this game. And go on then at 40 minutes. Who do you think's going to win now? Well, if I'd have asked you 10 minutes ago, I'm sure you'd have probably said Team 1 were looking strong. Now, well, with those 2 nukes, one of them gets shot down. The other one does not. The other one makes it through. And that's Freedom's main base pretty much gone. But don't forget, Freedom did inherit what was there previously belonging to Count Swagula. So Freedom by no means is he out. Megalith over here from Hyper has got itself picked up by 2 chickens and numerous aircraft here. That doesn't look like it's going to get any further. Doesn't even look like it's going to get a single chicken. It is nothing more than a very nice mass gift. And so there we go. 41 minutes. Well, let's have another look at the ecos after all of that damage there. 2.3 million apiece. Doesn't get much closer than that, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking 10. We're not even talking 10,000. 2.31, 2.32. Team 2 a hair ahead, but only a hair. Oh! What was that? A scouting run. Oh, look at all of this. Hyper 2001. He's gotten the comm picked up. He's pinged it. He's got so many torpedo bombers here. Surely you're not just going to stand there. What's he doing? Is there a commander there? There is a commander. How clutch was that? Freedom. Look at the torpedo bombers. The torpedoes chasing the commander after he's gotten in the transport ship. Have you ever seen such a crazy thing? I'm so glad I caught that. Nobody would have ever have believed me. He gets his Air Force in, but it's too late. Freedom got himself out of dodge. Oh my goodness. Hyper's torpedo bombers drop torpedoes versus Freedom's commander. Freedom picks himself up, flies onto land. Torpedoes chase the commander. Even though he's been picked up, they can't possibly hit him. And he gets away. He lands. And the ASF from Freedom wipe out all of Team 1's air. TwitchyMofo, however, may have the response here. I think we're going to have to split screen just for a moment with all the action on the opposite ends of the map. Twitchy's Navy down here on the lower east side, tearing up Hyper's main base. Meanwhile, Vecca up here, tearing up what was left of Freedom's base. Freedom, though, with a well-placed GC. That will dissuade the Navy from getting too close. But look at this air grid belonging to Freedom. It's completely exposed. And there is at least 3 cruisers here. Although a harm system, oh my goodness. Possibly the single unit that can save the day is saving the day. But look at over here. Oh no, Hyper's base is getting dismantled by Tech 3 battleships. Look at the barrages of fire. Hyper is trying to respond with shields. Oh no, we've got a couple of chickens here from TwitchyMofo penetrating deep into their base as well. Somehow, the Tech 2 Navy here was prevented from causing damage. They're all going, it's going to be so close. Look at this, 184 points. Go on. Oh, it's so close from being a chain reaction, but just not quite enough. Man, that was close. The chicken here from Twitchy continues to press through. Let's go back to single screen. Keep tabs on this chicken. Doesn't like it's going to get that much else done, but it did once again. Both teams are pressing extremely deep. Vega's Navy here parking. Arguably not the best spot in the world. Megalith here is tearing it apart. And Freedom once again re-establishing for, let's just call it the 58th time so far. However, TwitchyMofo of 45 minutes. It's like he is starting to cause damage. The thing is, we know Hyper's got the telemate. So let's have a, where is he? Well, he's in the sea so far, but you'd think for a guy that's almost lost everything, structurally speaking, surely he's going to make use... Oh, and he is. He is. Where's he going? Can we get a clued in on that? Yes, we can. He's going into Brittle's... Oh, he's going to try and take out the strategic missile defense. And as best I can tell, their team hasn't noticed. Although my only reservation about this teleportation is he's far too close to these ion reactors. They're going to cause him a lot of damage, but it looks like they're going to cause him damage anyway. He's down. But he does take out the strategic missile defense. And that leaves Vega all by his lonesome in a 3 versus 1. Vega, who does, however, have a couple of nukes. There they go. There's one. Twitchy here, tearing up what's left of the inherited base. 2 nukes go out from Vega. He does have a couple of chickens just roaming around here, one of which is still alive, actually, trying to deal with some of this navy. But in go the nukes. Very good target in there. Brittle, who was, of course, had a big eco at this stage of the game. Nuke defense back here from Freedom dissuades a nuke back there. Chicken bot over here from Twitchy gets right into the back of Vega's main base, or what's now Vega's main base, but Vega does have 3 chickens in the area. That's assuming they can, of course, get the pointy end of the gun facing the right way. Twitchy doing the right thing, completely ignoring the chickens, just trying to get in as deep as he can. And a very well-placed shield there. Vega knew the Ion Storm's the problem, and they see the shield actually blinking off already. And the Ion Storm's starting to cause problems. And so there we have it. Another megalith here, 42 minutes is the one we saw before, going submersible. Vega with a huge navy here, Tech 3 and all. How much damage the Iron Storm? I don't believe it. The Iron Storm was able to pick off one of Vega's chickens, and that's created a double Ion Storm. And so for a 3 versus 1, or a 1 versus 3 should we call it, that was a very effective attack. Siege tanks here from Vega, slowly picking apart the aircraft carriers, taking all week to do it, but they will do it at the end of the week, assuming the game goes on that long. We've got to begin to suspect at 48.5 minutes that there's a slight advantage now for Team 1. Ever so slightly. And I don't believe that this megalith has been allowed to live this entire way. It's just like it's been tickled by a couple of minor torpedo bomber units. Wonder what Freedom's waiting for. I mean, there are 3 chickens to greet the megalith should it wish to make landfall, but at this moment in time, it would appear it has better things to do. Maybe the crab is doing crab things and playing at the bottom of the sea. I should know. I live by the seaside. You don't want to stand on one. Vega here, it's actually doing a pretty decent job considering he's outnumbered 3-1 APM wise. I do like that he's holding this flank. Don't forget, his team basically had no Navy presence at all on the eastern side. I mean, I feel a little bit for Vega because he basically won what his job was, so to speak, sort of 5 times over, and held elsewhere. See a second experimental GC just chilling for now from Freedom. Look at this megalith. It is just, it doesn't seem to be dying. Although it is now finally forced to respond. It's got over 100,000 hit points to it. Chicken response here from Brittle, trying to deal with some of these siege tanks from Vega that are trying to break out. We've got siege tanks over here from Vega trying to break out, and this is mostly spam and engineers. This is hilarious. It's just not dying. It's getting all cinematic there, come on. So I say no, you're not a filmmaker, you're trying to cast a game. Get back to it. Beautiful front here from Vega. I love it. Look at all the spam there just dying. You may want a very minor dodgification due to all the artillery pieces, but otherwise, Team 1 looking very strong back here. Doesn't look like they're in any immediate threat from anything. Vega still pressing with this Navy. For the 80th time this game, he's built a naval yard, but the megalith has finally had enough, together with the GC, and at 51 minutes has decided to break into Vega's main base. Vega with a solitary chicken there goes down. The Ion Storm will help out a little bit. The 2 experimentals continuing to press, and I'm just thinking what Vega's got here. He is working on a YOLO, which is very nice, and it's about 2/3 just through. But the problem is, oh, the GC doesn't like. The GC does not like. But Freedom, at least for now, attention elsewhere. Oh, down goes the megalith. The GC, I don't think, has realized that there's a YOLO right here. He's dismantling the economic structures. There's a couple of nuke launchers there from Vega. They both go down. They were the priority. This is all hands on deck here for Vega to try and stop this GC. But the GC does a... Oh no. This is it. At 52 minutes. The YOLO, the one unit that can... Oh, it's down. That's it. And I think with it, Vega's last real hope there just crumbled. TwitchyMofo is moving in from the east side, and Vega says, don't you know it? And with it, ladies and gentlemen, what a fantastic game. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're having a fantastic weekend here from Tactical Takeover, deep inside the UK. My friends, take care. Wherever in the world you may be, have a good one. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Bye-bye. Well, a little bit of shilling if you do want some more. Don't forget to check out the Patreon. Thank you very much for everybody over there who supports us. Can never thank you enough. And until next time, ta-ra!